Hey YouTube, it's Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters, here again with another drum lesson. I've got a little bit of an advanced lesson for you guys today. What I'm going to be doing is show you how to take a very simple rudiment, snare drum rudiment, and turn it into basically everything you just heard there in the intro to this video. Before we get started on that though, be sure to follow my Spotify playlist. There's a link down below that has a bunch of music, either studio projects that I worked on, studio sessions that I recorded on, or some of my own stuff. It's a really long playlist. You want to check out all of my work, or a lot of my work, not all of it, but a lot of my work. There's a lot of it on that playlist. So check out the link down below for Spotify. Now let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to be doing, actually, is the concept of this is actually a very simple concept. So what I did is I took Stick Control for the Snare Drummer by George Lawrence Stone, and I just picked a random rudiment, basically off the first page. It wasn't even a difficult one. It's like, this book is filled with tons and tons of stuff. And if you actually make it to the end of this book, you would be basically buddy rich. But this thing, you really don't even have to use that many. You can take stuff right off the first page with actual lessons, like I did, which is lesson number 6 on the first page of exercises, which is page 5, which goes right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left. You take that rudiment and you practice it. Let me slow that down a bit. Okay, so once you get good at that, something that helps me to learn rudiments like this, let me move this book out of the way. To learn rudiments like this is I focus on one hand, really, because if you're just focusing on one hand, like the rights, which since I'm right-handed, that one's easier for me to focus on, all I have to do is fill in the rest with the left hand. And what I mean is however much space is left, when I get my right hand going, I just fill the rest in with my left hand. So okay, now all you have to do to turn this into basically everything you just heard there is you just split it up and move it around the kit. So first off, let me show you what I mean. I'm not going to play any bass drum just yet. Let's split that rudiment up between my hi-hat and my snare drum. Switch back to the other camera here. Actually, let's do this other camera. This one may be better. Now what I'm doing is on the backbeat, I'm switching this hand, my right hand, to the snare. So that gives that backbeat feel there. If I don't do it, it sounds like this. So once I get going with this rudiment, and then I add a bass drum, let's just put a bass drum on the 1 and see what that sounds like. 1. 1. And then we instantly have this cool funk groove. Now you can start adding in some more kick drums to give it a little more funk, like so. Now basically all the kicks I'm putting in there are just locked step with my right hand. So they're really not that hard to throw in. You can just basically pick any random right hand hit and put a kick drum on it and it's going to sound cool. Now for fills, basically all I'm doing is just moving them around the kit. It's still the same rudiment. And then lastly, the other thing that I was doing in there is I was splitting it up between my ride and my left hand on my hi-hat and still keeping the backbeat with my right hand on the snare. So Now that's a really good example how you can just take a very simple rudiment and turn it into all kinds of awesome stuff. Now that's why rudiments are so important to learn. Now people, when they hear about rudiments, it seems kind of daunting because there's so many. You look at a book like that, but as I just showed you, you really don't even need to learn that many. You can just learn a couple. I mean, you can take what little knowledge you have and turn it into all kinds of cool things. Now, the reason why it was able to feel and sound so different when I was playing it all the different ways, not only because of how I was splitting it up between the drums and cymbals, it was also the accents that I was putting in there. So if I were to play it straight with no accents, which it really doesn't sound that cool. So you have to kind of, soften some of those snare hits and then make the backbeat louder, put some accents in there and give it a little more feel like. I could play the whole thing on just the hi-hat and snare. With the accents, and it still has kind of a funky feel. Accents, rudiments, all these things you hear over and over again, but they really are what make drumming really, really cool. When you really start to incorporate all this stuff into your repertoire, that's how you get a feel when you're playing. Now, this is something that you can experiment with. You can take basically any rudiment out of this entire book and apply it the same way. There's no real rules here. So anyway, hopefully you found this helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video too if you liked it that much. Check out my Spotify playlist down below. So anyway, I'll see you guys really soon. Have a great week. Later.